Hello everyone, I'm Silvio Vincozes and this is ERENO-UI, a tool for generating IEC-61850 intuition datasets for digital substation. ERENO-UI is a friendly user interface to enable easy setup of the ERENO framework without the need for expert knowledge in digital substations. ERENO framework is implemented in Java, so ERENO-UI was also implemented in that language. We used specifically Java Server Pages (JSP) to build it. We evaluated ERENO-UI in the following environments. However, you can use whatever environments. All you need to do is installing Java virtual machine to support that project. We used Java SDK in its 8th version and Apache Tomcat in this specific version. For developing, we used IntelliJ IDEA in its last version. So all you need to do to get started with ERENO is copy and paste this GitHub repository. Both ERENO and ERENO-UI are completely open source. After cloning it, you will see something like that. This is our ERENO project. To run it, you need to choose here Tomcat and run. This environment is integrated with Google Chrome. So after running it, Google Chrome will be automatically opened. This is our first page. Note that it's in Portuguese, so you can choose the English version by switching that button. This is the first tab in English now. So you have two options, two main groups of options, the settings and datasets. If you click in datasets, you can see at this moment there is no datasets available to download here. So we will go to settings. The first setting is ID settings. Here we can choose, for example, another name for our ID. We can choose another name for control blocks, dataset paths, and whatever field you can see in that screen. For example, this and these fields refer to the minimum and maximum transmission interval between two GOOSE messages. You may also change the initial timestamp, initial status number, and initial sequence number of GOOSE messages. If you don't wanna, or if you don't know what's the meaning of this information, you can just use the default proposed suggested values for that fields. So I will just press next here, and this is the second step, where you can choose the values for GOOSE flow. I will change here the number of messages. I will generate 50 GOOSE periodic message. I will do no any other changes in source and destination MAC address, for example, and I will press next to go to the next step. This is the third step. This is for generating SV data. This step is optional. If you don't want SV data, you can just press next to ignore that step. However, if you wanna SV message, you can choose generate SV message. If you don't have a custom file with your own measures from current and voltage from the lecture domain, you can unmark that second option and use the default file. However, if you have available custom file, you can just upload it. To this example, we will just ignore the third step to keep it simple. So we will press next, and this is the last step. We can here change which attack will compose our dataset. The default market options refers to the last usage of ERENO-UI, so it keeps its state. I will unmark that attacks, and I will mark, for example, random replay attacks. I will keep the legitimate message marked because random replay attacks requires legitimate message, because as its name says, replay attacks need to replay something. In that case, it will replay the legitimate message. So I will change also the dataset name for dataset, legitimate, and random replay text. So I will press finish, and this is our dataset. We can also back at this phase and mark in, for example, masquerade attacks, or both masquerade and random replay attacks. And we can choose another name, masquerade and random replay attacks. I will press finish, and this is our two generated dataset. Note that the first one are larger than the second one because it has more samples. I can press in that link and our dataset will be generated. So this is how our dataset looks like. This is in the attribute relation file format that is easily understandable and processed by any machine learning algorithms, especially those implemented by using Weka. So if we go down here, we can see that the first set of lines belong to the normal class. And if we go down, we can see the random replay text here. If we go back and download the other dataset, we can see also a third set of samples that belong to masquerade attacks. So this is masquerade fake fault attacks. Here is the random replay attacks, and this is the normal samples. So that's all. That is our dataset. This is our tool for generating easily that datasets. So I expected it is useful for you. And to get started with ERENO, remember, all you need to do is to copy and paste that link. Any question, you can send email from my email at bottom of that page. And thank you so much for your audience.